Good day, subscribers, and welcome to another episode of The Truth, a daily dose. Not so daily, is it? Yeah, things have been going on as we see lockdowns, shut-ins, the usual coronavirus crap that's going on. This is approximately 6 months after the first video that I made about propaganda, the perpetual lies that our wonderful government seems to be wanting to throw down at us. So if you bear with me, we're going to get through not only the coronavirus, but this video as well. So now y'all must be wondering, what's happened in 6 months? What's been going on for the past 6 months since the last time I came on here? So here's where we look at the COVID-19 cases versus the COVID-19 deaths versus the COVID-19 cases that have been opened and shut, and then the cases that are still active and all that good stuff. All right, here we see the current world population at 7,844,221,000 and about 500 pretty soon. That's the current world population. This is the coronavirus cases. 106,347,749. Out of those cases, 2,320,576 people died. So let's take a percentage of that. All right. What percentage is that of the total people that caught cases to the deaths? Calculate 2.182. So 2.2% of the people that caught the coronavirus have died. Here's an initialism, which I would like to form into an acronym at one point during this video, but CCS, clean, considerate, safe. Y'all should strive to be clean and considerate, so therefore safe. So, out of all these cases versus the world's population, let's do a percentage of that. World's population being that we have 7,844,228,300 and some odd people in this world today. Coronavirus cases as of today. What's the date? Today is the 6th. Oh man. There we go. The 6th, Saturday, February 6th, 2021. Okay. So 106,347,749. 106 million. Let me make sure you can see. 106,347,749 out of the world's population. 7,844,200. 7,844,228,000. Okay. So you're not thinking I'm adding any more zeros. This is the world's population. I just zeroed this, so there's more people today, or at this point, there's more people right now than what I put on the percentage calculator. So, cases of coronavirus is what percent of the world's population? 1.3%. Now, that's pretty high. All right. So now we've gone way over the cases, but the last video that I did, we were at a much lower number. I think it was like 25 No, it was 19 million. I believe it was 19 million. And the percentage of people was like less than 1/4%. Or maybe it was 1/4% or something really small. It's still pretty small, considering more people this year from 6 months ago when I did my other video. There's a lot more people. Of course, there's a lot more cases because people are still dirty. So we see the percentages went up slightly. Okay, cool. Does that mean there's a pandemic? I mean, pandemic, yes, meaning all people got it. It's worldwide. But is it something super serious? No, I don't think so. I mean, more people died in other diseases, like I mentioned in my last video. More people are dying today from other things. We got still heart problems being the number one, diabetes being above even the upper respiratory illnesses. You even have Alzheimer's disease being above in the death rates, above like COVID and influenza and stuff like that, upper respiratory illnesses. So as far as I'm concerned, still not a serious thing as far as worldwide. It's just serious for any individual, like any other disease would be, to be honest. This is my own personal opinion, but am I going to take a vaccine that they hardly know any information about a virus that also keeps mutating, changing, and they just came out with just recently? Not in your lifetime, not lifetime am I going to take vaccine for a virus that they don't even understand. Might as well be a guinea pig. So throughout this, I'm going to talk about other things that the government has done to the population, and you can form your own decision based on the facts that I'm giving you, and they are facts, trust me. You can get them from anywhere, get this information from anywhere. You'll find out that, yeah, I'm not anybody's guinea pig, and I hope you won't be either. But if you do, it's your choice. I'm not telling you to take it. I'm not telling you not to take it. And now you got also 5,000 uninformed and unconsenting Guatemalan people. I mean, 5,000 people. This is another, this wasn't just syphilis either, if I recall. Look at this. Okay, now it's at least 5128. And it said, okay, more than 5,000, but at least 5,128 vulnerable people, including children, orphans, child and adult prostitutes, Guatemalan Indians, leprosy patients, mental patients, prisoners, and soldiers between 1946 and 1948. Health officials intentionally infected at least 1,308 of these people with syphilis, gonorrhea, and chancroid, and conducted serology tests on others. The study originally began in the United States. The study originally began in the United States. Yeah, we know that because that was the Tuskegee experiment, but was moved to Guatemala when researchers were unable to consistently produce gonorrhea infections in prisoners at a Terre Haute, Indiana prison. Okay, Okay, so they are how Indiana prison experiments, and note that they had experimented on them as well. There are similarities and differences between COVID-19. What's the difference? Influenza, or the flu, and COVID-19 are both contagious respiratory illnesses, but they are caused by different viruses. COVID-19 is caused by infection with a new coronavirus, which was found in livestock before. Now it's called the human coronavirus because it's a new strain, mutated, now called SARS-CoV-2. And flu is caused by infection with influenza viruses. Okay? Now, here it says COVID-19 seems to spread more easily than flu and causes more serious illnesses in some people. Here it says and here it says this means that influenza can spread faster than COVID-19. So if influenza can spread faster than COVID-19 according to the World Health Organization, and COVID-19 is COVID-19 seems to spread more easily. That would mean faster, right, than flu. So WHO says that the flu can spread faster than COVID-19. CDC says that the COVID-19 can spread more easily than the flu. So which one's right? I mean, if they're both working in tandem or together, then they're both wrong. That would be my outtake on that. So it can also take longer before people show symptoms, and people can be contagious for longer. This is the COVID-19. More information about differences between the two you can find in the different sections below. Now, because some of the symptoms of flu and COVID-19 are similar, it may be hard to tell the difference between them based on symptoms alone. And testing, which is not accurate, may be needed to help confirm a diagnosis. Okay, I wasn't going to read this, but I am. While more is learned every day about COVID-19 and the virus that causes it, there is still a lot that is unknown. So we're taking an unknown virus and making immunizations already? I don't know. I don't know about that one. Tuskegee, anybody? Guatemala, anybody? All I know is I'm not going to be a participant in any way, willing or unwilling, in any government experiment. Not ever. Unwillingly, unknowingly, probably have been. I don't know. I wouldn't purposely subject myself to any kind of experiment the government provides. And I believe, my own personal opinion again, that this coronavirus, the COVID-19 supposed vaccine, I believe it's not any good for you. So no thanks. Not going to take it. Too many past experiences in history from government officials tells me that the present experiences from government officials are not going to be that much different. All right, similarities. Both can have varying degrees of signs and symptoms, ranging from no symptoms, that's called asymptomatic, to severe symptoms. Common symptoms that COVID-19 and flu share include fever or feeling feverish, chills, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, fatigue or tiredness, sore throat, runny or stuffy nose, muscle pain or body aches, headache, and some people may have vomiting and diarrhea, though this is more common in children than adults. The difference is flu viruses can cause mild to severe illness, including common signs and symptoms listed above. COVID-19 seems to cause more serious illnesses in some people. Other signs and symptoms of COVID-19 different from flu may include change in or loss of taste or smell. So that they say other signs and symptoms that differ from the flu may include change in or loss of taste or smell. That'd be the only differences. We'll find out down here. Okay. Flu symptoms. Fever, cough, sore throat, runny or stuffy nose, muscle and body aches, headaches, fatigue or tiredness. It's the same. Okay. It's the same. New, loss of taste or smell. All right. People with COVID-19 have a wide range of symptoms reported, ranging from mild to severe, which is same as flu. Symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure. People with these symptoms may have COVID-19, which are all the symptoms minus the new loss of taste or smell that influenza has. Now, how many of you have gotten sick years before this and have lost their sense of taste or smell? And they said, oh, you just have the flu. So I don't know how that's any different. I really don't. You can look all this stuff up. WHO.int, World Health Organization. Google similarities between flu and COVID. Get a plethora of different places. Superior Health Plan, Pfizer, healthpartners.com, Intermountain Healthcare, Integris Soc, whatever that is, MayoClinic.org, WHO International, Hopkins Medical Organization, or .org, sorry, the organization if it's .org. CDC, symptoms, okay, which are similar to the WHO symptoms, all right? I mean, there is hardly any difference between the flu and coronavirus, but with the corrupt system that we have, any test you come back, whether you have the flu, whether you have pneumonia for that matter, whether you just have a common cold, you will probably turn up positive for the coronavirus. You will be told to stay home for at least 10 days, 2 weeks, 2 working weeks. Some companies don't pay you for it. Some companies do. But more than likely, you're going to lose money over it. So if you got the flu and you don't have any major symptoms, like severe symptoms, or all of these symptoms at once, I personally, and this is my own personal opinion, I wouldn't go into the hospital if I just had a couple of these. I get headaches. I got muscle or body aches, but that's because I do stuff. I'm fatigued a lot of the times because I'm doing stuff. Shortness of breath, if not really. Cough sometimes. I mean, sometimes I've gotten a tickle in my throat, and then I got to do that. Does that mean I have COVID? No. Does that mean I have influenza? No. There's other things. It could be pollen or dust in the air. It could be anything. So don't run because you got one or two of these and be like, I got COVID, because they're going to test you, and sure enough, you're going to have COVID, and you got to deal with the repercussions of that. If you want to do that, that's up to you. All right. Seriousness is not that serious. See, I've been Googling a lot of stuff. WHO, coronavirus disease similarities and differences with influenza. Look it up, people. Don't just jump to the nearest hospital emergency room or even your clinic just because you have some symptoms. All right. Now, does hydroxychloroquine treat coronaviruses? They don't know. All right. Let's see. Yeah, you can look most of the stuff on. I'm not going to go through the pregnancies. I'm not going to go through the, donating blood because I don't donate blood. I don't take donated blood. Shortness of breath. I mean, what is it? It's pretty self-explanatory. You have trouble breathing, but so do asthmatic patients. Okay? So do some elderly people. So do people with tuberculosis. I mean, the list goes on and on. So if you want to figure out what is shortness of breath, there it is. Refers broadly to the feeling of chest tightness, a hunger for air, suffocation-like sensations, breathlessness, or an inability to breathe. All right, simple, self-explanatory. What should I do if my COVID test is negative? Well, if it comes back negative, then I wouldn't worry about it. Unless your symptoms persist, I would say don't worry about it. Okay. Do supplements like witch hazel, ginger root, or lemon help prevent or treat COVID-19? All right. This is the medical profession. They're going to tell you, no, see your doctor. I would say go right ahead and try some natural supplements. And the thing that kills me is I can't say natural remedies, okay? Because not all of them are remedies, especially for a virus, all right? There are some known remedies for bacterial infections, okay? There are some known remedies for cold and or flu infections, which are viral infections. To say that any any product at all is going to cure you, nobody can say that. Not even a doctor can say that because obviously they've been, and you see it on the WHO and the CDC that there are no known treatments for this virus. Okay. So do supplements help prevent or treat? They're going to say no. No supplements, which we read. No approved at-home treatments. Okay. Which is a supplement. There was some, are there supplements, medication? Wait, and no supplements or medication have been shown to reduce the risk of contracting COVID-19. Excessive intake of supplements can be harmful. Very true. Okay. You take too much of anything, something's going to happen that has a negative result. All right. Whether it be natural or synthetic. Many drugs are being studied in clinical trials for the prevention and treatment, but the results will take months. Okay, now they came out with the new venomization, or if you want to call it immunization shots, 2-series shot. I mean, if you want to try it out, go ahead, Tuskegee. Go ahead, Guatemala. Go ahead and try them shots out. See how that works for you. All right. These are the best precautions you can take to prevent COVID-19. Obviously, avoid close contact with sick individuals. That goes for the influenza, pneumonia, or any other semi-airborne or airborne sicknesses. All right. Avoid touching your face with unwashed hands. Kids, kids are the worst at doing that. toddlers, babies, even teenagers. These children are dirty, all right? And if you're not practicing sanitation methods with your kids at an early age, the worse it's going to be as they get older. Hence, the world's population being a bunch of nasty, unwashed hands people. How many times have you went to the bathroom, saw somebody coming out of the John and didn't wash their hands and just went straight out? And we're talking grocery store, restaurant, or any other place where somebody's going to touch something that they just touched after they just took a dump. How many times have you seen that happen, even at work? And it's sickening. It's disgusting. And I've confronted many people about it. Some of them just kind of scoff at me. Some of them just ignore me totally. And some of them, very few of them actually, I should say, have actually been like, ooh, yeah. And then went and washed their hands. Sickening. All right. Another way. Practice social distancing by staying home when possible and maintaining 6 feet of distance. Okay? Go outside, people. Go to a park. Go to a nature trail. Go somewhere. Do something. Be outside. Okay? You don't have to stay home. I don't know why they say stay home. Stay in your homes. No. That's them passively trying to get you to be a recluse. All right? We're not trying to be reclusive. We're just trying to avoid being sick. Big difference. I go to the park all the time. My kids go outside to the park all the time. I go to nature trails. I've gone fishing. I've done so many things in this past couple of years that people would be like, yeah, I do. And you're not sick. No, I'm not. All right. Clean and disinfect objects and surfaces using a regular household cleaning spray or wipe. All right. Regular household cleaning. All right. How many people have done this before this started? Not many. Now all of a sudden everybody's buying up all the disinfectant sprays and wipes, and now all of a sudden everybody's clean. I doubt it. Too much of something can have reverse effects. All right? You're going to take these surfaces that you're wiping with bleach, you're going to have bleach resistant strains of whatever. All right? You gotta kind of mix it up a little bit. Sometimes bleach, sometimes vinegar. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to tell other people how to be clean. I just know that I'm clean. All right. I know that even if I have a counter full of dishes, that I'm not going to have a pool of bacteria and viruses on my countertop. All right. There's a difference between being filthy dirty and being cluttered. Some people don't know the difference, and just spraying down everything with bleach, you're going to lose your sense of taste and smell doing that because, yeah, it's a chemical. And you're going to panic. I can't taste or smell anything. And then you're going to rush to the hospital. And that hospital might have somebody that doesn't have any scruples and be like, yeah, you are so positive for corona. And all you had was bleach in your nostrils. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Why did they put that before? Or use a hand sanitizer containing at least 60% alcohol? Because this is the best method. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Okay? Hand sanitizer should only be used when you cannot wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Some of you use hand sanitizer as your bath. I don't understand that. Never wash your hands, but you'll always use hand sanitizer. Like I said in my previous video, all you're doing is cleaning dirt. All right? You might be killing off a lot of the virus because it breaks down the protein wall on the virus and it will kill them, but you're still a dirty person. All right? And if you're talking, well, it kills the virus, yeah, okay, gotcha. it does kill the virus. So you got me on that, but that is not the best method still. Wash your hands, people. Soap and water, 20 seconds, not that hard. All right. Even here, differences. What if I don't have any sanitizer? Washing your hands with soap and water is the recommended method of keeping your hands clean. If soap and water are not available, you can use hand sanitizer, but it must have an alcohol content of at least 60% to be effective. What if I don't have any sanitizer? Wash your hands. I even just said that. All right, just said that. Yeah. All right, I'm not gonna go through all these because it's ridiculous. Oh well, here's a question I have never even heard of anybody asking, but it makes sense because it's kind of airborne. Does air conditioning increase the spread of COVID-19? There have been no reports on the spread of COVID-19 via air conditioning in the United States at this time. One study from a restaurant in China described the transmission of COVID-19 to nearby diners, possibly associated with the air conditioning, but close proximity of patrons and poor ventilation in the restaurant also played a role. All right, so no. If it's hot, turn your AC on. Can coronavirus survive on copper surfaces? Shown to have many antimicrobial properties, and coronavirus has been shown to die faster on copper than most surfaces. It can still last on copper surfaces such as pennies, tea kettles, cookware, etc. for around 4 hours. So all you people going in the store and touching all those copper pieces to think you can clean your hands that way. Hoi, hoi. Okay, good job. All right. Copper may damage the cell membranes or envelopes of the viruses, generate stress on the viral cells, and create toxic hydrogen peroxide, as well as interfere with the proteins that keep the cells alive. I just talked about that. We are still learning from research on the antimicrobial properties and the most effective ways to use copper in everyday life to keep us healthy. Yeah, so I would say no. Just wash your hands. Wash your surfaces, whether they're copper or not, okay? Because you got around 4 hours. That's give or take. You know nothing's specific around here. And does vitamin D help prevent or treat COVID-19? Vitamin D is great from the sun, which has to do with the UV lights. Just like zinc, vitamin D is among many medications being studied in the prevention and treatment. However, researchers are still trying to evaluate vitamin D's role in preventing or treating COVID-19, and there are no established recommendations for its use at this time. Okay, if you want to get your vitamin D, go in the sun. If you want to get your UV rays, go in the sun, but it's not going to. We go to Penn Medicine, a pretty reputable website. It's coronavirus frequently asked questions about COVID-19 and additional COVID questions. So like first, losing a sense of smell, a sign of COVID-19 infection. Studies suggest that this symptom can last up to 4 to 6 weeks. How accurate is COVID testing? That's a good question, because we all know that we get tested and they got some false negatives, false positives, all that crap. So you got to figure, are they really accurate? Well, since COVID-19 tests are new, knowing the accuracy is challenging. Oh, go figure. The accuracy and predictive values of SARS-CoV-2 testing have not been evaluated, of course, and the accuracy of testing depends on which test is used, type of specimen tested, how long it was collected, and the duration of illness. What if I don't have any sanitizer? Wash your hands, duh. Should I wear a mask when I go out? If you're going out in public places like a grocery store or a pharmacy or even a library, if they're open, yeah, you should wear a mask. You should, just to keep somebody from spitting on you when they talk or sneezing. I mean, it'll help. It's not going to totally prevent. All it does is, all right. And then there's the other aspect is if you have it, you don't want to be breathing all over everybody, sneezing and coughing on them. So you're somewhat preventing them from getting it too. All right. So yeah, wear a mask. I don't always. I said that in my last video and I still don't always wear a mask because I'm not worried about it. Can I still walk in the neighborhood? Yeah, please go outside, take a walk. If you see somebody that's going to pass you up, put a mask on if that makes you feel better. All right, it's not super airborne, although they're claiming that it is airborne. It's not super airborne where it's constantly in the air for, you know, every breath you take. Still safe to receive packages. I mean, you can click the plus sign and get the answers yourself, but I guarantee you what I'm telling you is probably in here because it's common sense. Is it still safe to receive packages? Here's the thing about packages. It could come from anywhere. It could get handled by many people, etc., etc., and then it comes to your door, and then you take the package, and then you bring it into your home. Do you really have to worry about it? Not really. As COVID-19 has been told that it stays on some surfaces for minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, whatever the case may be, doesn't necessarily mean that you have it on a package. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to spray your stuff before you bring it in. If you want to grab a can of whatever disinfectant spray you use and spray your box down before you open it up, by all means, go for it. Is it necessary? Not really. Don't know what that is because I don't use any. I use natural cures. Oh, here we go. Supplements like natural stuff. Should I take Tylenol, acetaminophen, Motrin, ibuprofen, or something else for my symptoms? I would say if you got a headache and you don't have, I mean, a bad, really bad headache, you don't have any natural things to get rid of it within half an hour, by all means, take some. Let's see what they say. There's no approved at-home treatments for COVID-19 at this time. For symptom management, we recommend acetaminophen to control fever or pain, headaches. If Tylenol doesn't help your symptoms, NSAIDs such as ibuprofen, Motrin, or naproxen, Aleve, or naproxen, I don't know what that is, can be used, but only at recommended doses. So use it if you have a bad headache or if you're like really in pain, okay? There's no approved home treatments, so they're not approving that you do it and saying, yes, please, by all means do. And I'm not a doctor, so, my advice wouldn't matter. But as far as I'm concerned, if I have a headache, I'll either take some kind of ibuprofen. Maybe I'll take Tylenol if it's not super bad headache. All right. So then, yeah, light kill coronavirus? I would assume so. Let's find out. Ultraviolet rays are part of sunlight. Studies show that UV light can be used to kill airborne COVID-19 particles and disinfect surfaces. For this reason, some hospitals, subways, and other public locations are using to help disinfect areas where they're not occupied by people. While helpful for cleaning these areas, UV light has not been shown to prevent the infection in humans or to kill the virus in infected patients. So obviously standing out in the sunlight is not going to get into the inside of your body, all right, which is where the virus lives. But if you have any on the surface of your hands, yeah. So don't stand out there on a cloudy day thinking that, it works for getting a tan, that it works for killing a virus. Safety and efficacy of many UV light devices sold to the public are not routinely reviewed, So these should be used with caution. Overexposure to ultraviolet rays can have harmful health effects and is a major risk factor for cancer. It's like standing out in the sun for too long. All right. You're going to get your daily dose of vitamin D for about 20 to 30 minutes standing outside, but you don't have to stand out there for hours. Okay. All right. So for these reasons, you should wear sunscreen on exposed skin when you're in the sun for long periods. So, yes and no. Does zinc help prevent or treat? I would say it could prevent, but does not treat. No supplements or medications have been shown to reduce the risk of contracting COVID-19. Zinc is currently being studied for both prevention and treatment, but no data are available yet. If you're interested in taking zinc supplements, speak with your doctor first. So, I mean, that makes sense. They don't know if zinc's what reduces the risk or not, prevent or treat or not. It's being studied. No data is available yet. So don't start popping zinc pills thinking that, oh, this will help me. Okay, does hydroxychloroquine treat coronavirus? They just said up here that there are no supplements or medications that have been shown to reduce the risk of contracting COVID-19. So treating, don't know. Let's find out. I doubt it. It is not at all clear. It is not at all clear whether hydroxychloroquine is beneficial in preventing or treating COVID-19. It's currently under investigation in a variety of clinical trials, both to prevent COVID-19 and for the treatment of COVID-19. Okay, currently under investigation in clinical trials, both for prevention and treatment. Now, Penn Medicine is participating in several clinical trials of medications to fight COVID-19, including hydroxychloroquine. There are risks with taking this medication long term. Okay? Think about that when they pop out with another antivirus. And it is not currently recommended for patients to take outside of a clinical trial. Outside of a clinical trial. So all the people that are doing the clinical trials, they're guinea pigs. They chose to be guinea pigs, hopefully. They are willing participants as because, and this isn't the only one. Okay, there's many more cases. But it says here at ncbi.nlm, RMC, U.S. National Library of Medicine, National Institutes of Health. Okay. Beginning in 1946, the United States government immorally and unethically and arguably illegally engaged in research experiments in which more than 5,000 uninformed and unconsenting Guatemalan people were intentionally infected with bacteria that cause sexually transmitted diseases. Many have been left untreated to the present day. Although U.S. President Barack Obama apologized in 2010, should say former U.S. president. And although the U.S. Presidential Commission for the Study of Bioethical Issues found the Guatemalan experiments morally wrong, little, if anything, has been done to compensate the victims and their family. You have the infamous Tuskegee experiment, the infamous syphilis study. All right, that began in 1932. Okay, so let's go back to the Guatemalan incident. Beginning in 1946, the United States government immorally and unethically and arguably illegally engaged in research experiments. These were to Guatemalan people. That was in 1946. Tuskegee, Alabama was in 1932. More than 10 years before was the government experimenting on people. So, at the time where there was no known treatment for syphilis, a contagious venereal disease, after being recruited by the promise of free medical care, 600 African American men in Macon County, Alabama, were enrolled in the project, which aimed to study the full progression of the disease. All right. The participants were primarily sharecroppers. The black man has been screwed over many times, and many had never before visited a doctor. So these doctors are promising free medical care if they go and do this. All right. So they were somewhat willing, but they didn't know what was going on. Because doctors from the U.S. Public Health Service, which was running the study, informed the participants, almost 400 men with latent syphilis and a control group of 201 others who were free of the disease, they were being treated for bad blood, a term commonly used in the area at the time to refer to a variety of ailments. Okay? So actually, they weren't even told they were getting syphilis injected into them. Unbelievable. This is our government, people. Same government that's trying to push this antivirus to you. Okay? The men were monitored by health workers, but only given placebos, such as aspirin and mineral supplements, despite the fact that penicillin became the recommended treatment for syphilis in 1947, which was years later. Okay, some 15 years into the study. PHS researchers convinced local physicians in Macon County not to treat the participants, and instead research was done at the Tuskegee Institute, now called Tuskegee University. The school was founded in 1881 with Booker T. Washington as its first teacher. In order to track disease's full progression, researchers provided effective care as the men died, went blind or insane, or experienced other severe health problems due to their untreated syphilis. In the mid-1960s, a PHS venereal disease investigator in San Francisco named Peter Buxton found out about the Tuskegee study and expressed his concerns to his superiors that it was unethical. Of course it's unethical. In response, the PHS officials formed a committee to review the study, but ultimately opted to continue it. Wow. With the goal of tracking the participants until all had died. So they did not give a rat's derriere about 600 African American men. Okay? These men were sharecroppers. If anybody wants to know about what sharecropping was for African men, by all means look it up. Another way to screw the black man over for no reason. Okay. That's horrible. In the mid-1960s, a PHS venereal disease investigator, I already read that part. Okay. They opted to continue it. With the goal of tracking the participants until all had died, autopsies were performed and the project data could be analyzed. Buxton then leaked the story to a reporter friend who passed it on to a fellow reporter, Gene Heller of the Associated Press. Heller broke the story in July of 1972. So this was in, where'd it go, 32? Yeah, 1932. 40 years later, all right. prompting public outrage and forcing the study to finally shut down. Finally shut down 40 years later? Yeah. These men died horrible. If these are the men, yeah, okay, it says participants in a Tuskegee syphilis study. If these were the men, this is a fraction of them. They died horrible deaths for no reason. No reason at all. That's got to boil somebody's blood. All right. So anyway, by that time, 28 participants had perished from syphilis, 100 more had passed away from related complications, and at least 40 spouses had been diagnosed with it, and the disease had been passed to 19 children at birth. So they take these men who had wives and children, unknowingly had syphilis, gave it to their spouse, who then pass it on to their children. In 1973, Congress held hearings on the Tuskegee experiments, and the following year, the study's surviving participants, along with the heirs of those who died, received a $10 million out-of-court settlement. Pretty sure they all had to split that. Not each one of them did not get $10 million, I guarantee you that. Additionally, new guidelines were issued to protect human subjects in the U.S. government-funded research projects. As a result, many African Americans developed a lingering, deep mistrust of public health officials and vaccines. Okay? Go figure. In part to foster racial healing, President Bill Clinton issued a 1997 apology stating the United States government did something that was wrong. No kidding. Deeply, profoundly, morally wrong. No kidding. It is not only in remembering that shameful past that we can make amends and repair our nation, but it is in remembering that past that we can build a better present and a better future. Do you remember the shameful past of slavery? Or the shameful past of Black Wall Street? No? No, I didn't think so. Anyway, I'm not even going to get into that. Look it up. Please do. By all means, look up Black Wall Street, what happened to them people. My people. Probably your people, some of you listening to this. Irritating. I mean, irritating is a very nice way to put that I'm pretty effing pissed off about it. So, and here we go. Tuskegee wasn't the first unethical syphilis study. Okay. So how in 2010 did President Barack Obama and federal officials apologize for other U.S.-sponsored experiment conducting decades earlier in Guatemala? So how is 47 earlier than 32? I don't know. But anyway, unless they got their number wrong. But at any rate, it did happen. Whether it was 47 or 37 or 27, doesn't matter. It happened. Okay. In that study from 46, okay, no, it was that time. 46, so, all right, decades earlier. Okay. Anyway, 1946, 1948, nearly 700 men and women, prisoners, soldiers, mental patients were intentionally infected with syphilis. Hundreds more people were exposed to the other sexually transmitted diseases as part of the study without their knowledge or consent. The purpose of the study was to determine whether penicillin could prevent, not just cure, syphilis infection. Some of those who became infected never received medical treatment. The results of the study, which took place with the cooperation of Guatemalan government officials, were never published. So in 1948, they were doing it. And it wasn't until 1972 that it was publicized. Okay? That's a long time. From 1932, I'm pretty sure they've done it before. It's just, I'm not looking all that up because I just get irritated with this stuff. So from 32 to 72, 40 years. And in the meantime, between the Tuskegee incident, they had something going on in Guatemala. All right. So it's not a first time. It ain't going to be the last time. All right, look at this. I mean, yeah, we're here to help you. Okay, thank you. Appreciate your kindness. Unbelievable. Let's see. All right. The American public health researcher in charge of the project, Dr. John Cutler, went on to become a lead researcher in the Tuskegee experiments. Following Cutler's death in 2003, historian Susan Reverby uncovered the records of the Guatemala experiments. So, in 2003, somebody uncovered the records of the experiments while doing research related to the Tuskegee study. Okay, she shared her findings with U.S. government officials in 2010. Took her 7 years to share those findings. Soon afterwards, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Kathleen Sebelius, issued an apology. Ooh, well, thank you for apologizing for the STD study, and the President Obama called the Guatemalan president to apologize for the experiments. The results of the study, which took place with the cooperation of Guatemalan government officials, were never published. But President Obama called the Guatemalan president to apologize for the experiments when the Guatemalan government officials were cooperating with our government? Huh. Isn't that something to think about? Unbelievable. Okay. So, all that aside, when it tells you that, hopefully I got the right one. Okay. All that. Just to talk about the clinical trials and the patients that are hopefully, like I said, they are hopefully willing participants. Sure. Well, looking back at our government's history, I would say not. That is not a definite for sure. And I'm pretty sure that most of these venomizations are going to be conducted with the majority of Black or Hispanic people. Guarantee. I could almost guarantee that with my next paycheck, but I'm not going to make that bet because then somebody listening to this higher up will probably be like, oh, okay, I'm going to get all your paychecks and your life. Whatever, conspiracy theory, whatever you want to call it. I really don't trust our government officials to do the right thing. And I'm pretty sure 99.77% of the Black and Hispanic community would agree, at least hopefully agree. I mean, $10 million compensation for the people that died. I mean, come on, really? Or no, I'm sorry, that was for the, which one was that for? Guatemalan? No, I didn't read it there, did I? And maybe that was the Tuskegee. Okay, yeah, it was the Tuskegee. All right, so Congress held hearings on the Tuskegee experiments, and the following year, the study's surviving participants, along with the heirs of those who died, received a $10 million out-of-court settlement. Somebody look this up, please, and respond in the down in the comments there. and see if that was a shared $10 million out of court settlement, or if every single one of the 600 African American men, if every one of those men and their heirs were compensated with $10 million. Highly unlikely. They took $10 million and separated it between, I mean, you're after 40 years, I mean, there's some kids and grandkids involved. All right. So, and I'm pretty sure some of those might have received some kind of medical compensation, i.e., penicillin or whatever it took to get rid of their syphilis that was injected into their grandfather or their great grandfather, depending on who they are. And they probably didn't receive any of this at all. I'd like to see if any one of you out there did any research on that and can prove it. If each person got 10 million or if they had to split that up. I'm pretty positive they had to split it up because compensations for other atrocities that the United States government has put upon our black brothers in the past, present, and more than likely future. That's what history does, doesn't it? It teaches you that the past can go to the future if you don't change things. And these men, because apparently they took a picture of the participants, some of them, out of the 600, some of them in the Tuskegee syphilis study, they told them they were going to receive free health care and that they were getting treated for bad blood, which was not for syphilis, but for, maybe it was up here already still. Still up here more. Okay. A term commonly used in the area at the time to refer to a variety of ailments. So bad blood meaning you could have had some kind of disease. They don't know what it is. Bad blood meaning it could be STD. It could be something that's, is called people that had tuberculosis lungers. Okay. That could have been a form of bad blood back in this day. All right. Variety of ailments didn't mean, they had a common cold. That's not bad blood. And bad blood meaning their blood cannot fight off an infection. Okay? So if they were telling these people that they were being treated for a variety of ailments, anything, they're probably thinking they're going to get cured of whatever's ailing them. And instead, they died slow, painful, agonizing deaths. Going insane. Going blind. There it is. Experience other severe health problems. Okay. Syphilis, that's what that gangster died from. They said he went insane. So imagine 600 people and their descendants, their wives. Horrible. So now you might be asking yourself this question. What's the reality of it all? What does this mean? Now here's an acronym that might be able to be put on the table of elements. CLECOS. Clean, considerate, and safe. I'll tell you what it means. It means live your life. Do what you're going to do. Just stay clean. Stay safe. And most of all, stay truthful.